Speaker, Professor Dr. Mehmet Özkan, Professor of International Relations at the Joint War Institute, Turkish National Defence University. He will be delivering his keynote address on Turkey's Asia policy in a post-Western world. Please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Dr. Özkan to the stage. Thank you, sir.
This vibrant environment here. Thank you very much for the invitation, such a lively conference. And I'll try to make sense Turkey's Asia policy in 10, 12 minutes to make sense of it. So basically, let me give a little bit outline on the essence of the Turkish foreign policy, then we can contextualize how Turkey sees Asia and how Turkey approaches to developments in Asia in general. First of all, let me say that Turkey is a country of 90 million population, around 86 million, 90 million population. It's a relatively mid-sized country, but if you look at its foreign policy, it's expanding from different regions to different regions. So one can see Turkish foreign policy is really expanding in a multidimensional way. But in essence, what I can see, there are three essences of Turkish foreign policy. First, there is a three transformation that happened in Turkish foreign policy that's driving. First, there's an intellectual transformation in Turkish foreign policy, which means Turkey does not see itself limited to its region. Turkey is following a 360-degree foreign policy from Latin America to Asia, from Africa to Europe, Balkans, Middle East, almost everywhere. This is an intellectual transformation that Turkish mindset is looking very global in foreign policy. This is the first one. And second transformation is political transformation, which means Turkey should be having embassies in almost all countries wherever possible. Now Turkey is ranking fifth in terms of having most embassies in countries. And while Turkey having embassies, Turkey wants to be visible in all international organizations in all the countries so that you can follow developments. If you don't get the technical informations, you cannot produce strategic information. That's the political transformation. And third is economic transformations, which means, Turkey should be relocating itself, adjusting itself in transforming international global political economy. That's why intellectual transformation, political transformation, at the same time, economic transformation is feeding Turkish foreign policy towards different regions. What we have seen in the last 15, 20 years, an opening of Turkish foreign policy to different regions, to Latin America, to Africa, and also to Asia. In Asia, when I come specifically to Asia, as you know, there are three categories of countries in Asia that Turkey is approaching. In the first category, there are countries that Turkey have good relations, but that relation should be updated to a systemic level as we see global transformations happening very fast. For example, Korea, Japan, Pakistan, and some other countries that there is already good relations bilaterally, but the strategic dimension at systemic level is missing in these relations. That is a challenge in terms of approaching these countries. And there is a second category, which is Turkey has relatively good relations with those countries, but still there are potentials to be developed. Most of the South Asian countries is like that. For example, even including Bangladesh could be in that category, because I can give many names: Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, many other countries, including to some extent Malaysia, Indonesia. But the challenge here to create more positive agenda, so you can really see the options and horizons, and you can expand these relations to different level. And there is a third category, of course, which is China and India. Those are different categories because these relations should be bilateral. It has regional implications as well as global implications. So, in this category, of course, Turkey has been following a policy of opening to Asia and focusing economic cooperation, educational cooperation, and political cooperation is increasing. Turkey has opened lots of embassies. For example, In the region, Turkey has around 54 embassies. Turkey has embassies almost all ASEAN countries. So there is a drive that Turkey should be visible in the ground in Asia. Also, there is an expert. There are experts there that Turkey is focusing in Turkey, sending people to outside to be an expert on Asia, to follow the developments, and so they can inform decision making in Turkey. So, but in the latest developments, for example, Pakistan is a different story, but in the case of Bangladesh, since last year, Turkey has been focusing in Bangladesh as well. I know there have been some visits, mutual visits from here, from there. Some ministers came and go, and Turkey considers Bangladesh as an important ally in this region, economically, politically, and also education-wise. There are lots of things to do. That's why, part of this, lots of initiatives you see, not only in this, development side, but also political economic side, you see lots of push from Turkey side. As I see, there is an interest from here as well, and I see these relations will be developing fast in coming years. So overall, Turkey's Asia policy, first, it followed the developments in the regions as much close as possible. Second, try to upgrade some relations to strategic level and systemic level so Turkey can have some sort of systemic influence, not only in the region, but also beyond, like the case of Gaza and other issues and crises. Also, the other one is there are some countries' relations are underdeveloped that Turkey is focusing to develop those relations. But overall, what I can say, perhaps 30, 40 years ago, it was difficult to have Turkey had a clear Asia policy, but today I can say Turkey has a clear Asia policy, and that will be developing further because Turkey has implemented this opening to different regions, especially to Africa and Latin America. It has been very beneficial, and now it's focusing, especially since 2019, has been focusing more on Asia to really upgrade these relations between Turkey and Asian countries. And also, I want to remind that Turkey is we went to that region, went to West Asia from Asia as well. So perhaps Turkey is discovering its Asian roots, paying special attention to Central Asia and Southeast Asia, and further connections has become extremely important. And as I see lots of people coming to Turkey for tourism, for education, for business, and Istanbul is becoming a center of attraction, which makes, Turkish foreign policy to the region is successful and is sort of getting paid back. That is the general framework and the essence that I can give in terms of Turkey's policy towards Asia. So in a short time, I will stop here. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Have a great conference. Thank you very much.